There's an entire subset of iPhone features that most people don't know about or have never fully explored that I actually think would make a huge difference for most people in their everyday lives. So here are the best accessibility tips that you need to know about on your iPhone or your iPad. So when you go into your device settings, just below General is where you'll find all of the accessibility features. And when you click in here, there is a ton in this section. Thankfully though, they are all organized by category, so there's features for vision, physical and motor, hearing, speech, and a few others at the bottom. So you can always come into this section of your settings anytime you want to turn on one of these features manually, but what I find even more helpful, especially for the ones you're using daily, is to add them to your control center. So if I pull down on my phone to get to the control center and I long press to add a control, if I just search for the word accessibility, you'll see a lot of those features from settings are here and able to add to your control center. And so the three that I use pretty regularly and have in my control center are under the vision category, and it's the vehicle motion cues, reduce white point, and smart invert. So they're the three here at the bottom. The vehicle motion cues will help anyone who tends to get motion sickness when they're in a car, a train, or even a plane. And so when you click on the button, you'll see different options here. You can manually turn them on or off, or leave them on an automatic setting so that they come on automatically when your device senses that you're in motion. And so if I turn these on for a second, what you'll see is it's added these dots along either side of my phone. And so regardless of what I'm doing on my phone, these dots will remain and they're dynamic. So when I'm in a vehicle and I'm moving at speed, these dots will follow along and move in the direction I'm going to help reduce some of that motion sickness. The next one is Smart Invert, and this helps for any apps or websites that don't have a dark mode, that you're always stuck in light mode, and at night sometimes that's just too bright. So for example, the Amazon app or even Amazon in Safari does not have a dark mode option, and at night that can be really bright. So if I go into my control center and hit Smart Invert, it'll invert the colors so that it kind of forces the web page or the app into dark mode. And related to this one is sometimes there is a dark mode, but the whites are still just a little bit too bright for late at night. So if I go back into my control center, this one on the right reduces the white point. So when I turn this on, you'll see it just dimmed my screen a little bit. I can still have the brightness all the way up, but with that on, it still mutes the whites to make it, again, a little bit easier to see at night, even if there's a dark mode available. Now, if we do go into our settings and into accessibility and head on down to touch, if you scroll towards the bottom, you'll see back tap. This is a super popular feature where you have two options, a double tap and a triple tap. And so you can set them to do quick actions like take a screenshot, switch your phone into dark mode, turn on the flashlight. You have a list for both. And so to get these to work, you do have to double or triple tap on the back of your phone with a decent amount of force, especially if you have a case on, and you should be aiming in the middle, so kind of over the Apple logo. And so I'm just going to double tap with quite a bit of force and the flashlight will eventually turn on. Double tap again to turn it off. Then if you scroll down to audio and visual, all the way at the bottom, you can turn on flash for alerts. So this would turn on the LED flash, so the flashlight on the back of your phone, essentially the screen or both, anytime you get a phone call or a text message. So I'm going to turn on flash for alerts, the LED only. So now anytime I receive a message, the flash will go off to alert me. This next one is one you've potentially seen before, but maybe didn't know what it was. So this time, if we go down to touch, you'll see assistive touch. When I turn this on, you'll see a little floating circle appear on my screen, and I can just easily drag this wherever I want if it's in my way or distracting. And so this circle will act as like a menu. It'll perform a bunch of different actions depending on how I customize it and set it up. So you would customize it in this menu, and we'll get there in a second, but you'll see you can also set it up to do different things with a single tap, with a double tap, or a long press on the circle. So if we go into the customization. Right now, it only performs one action. There's one icon, and so it's set to home. Whenever I click on it, it'll just basically act as a back button and bring me back to my home screen. And so you can add here different icons. You can click in to have it do different things. If I just hit the reset button, it goes to basically the default menu. And so you'll see there is 6 different actions here. So if I'm, let's say, in messages, anytime I click on the button, it'll open up a different menu of the actions. And I can click into device and see things like control the volume, lock the screen. I can press the arrow in the center to go back. I can access my control center with this button. I can also click it to bring down my notification center. And so this floating button will just always be on your screen. Again, you can move it if it is distracting to what you're looking at, but it will stay along the perimeter of your phone. Another place that's really handy for quick access to some of these accessibility features is mapping them to your side button. So to set this up, again, in your accessibility settings, you're going to go all the way to the bottom and you'll see accessibility shortcut. So we're going to click in here. So this again is quite a long list, and you'll see a few of the options are things that I added to my control center, like reduce white point or smart invert. So if you rather have them attached to the side button, you can do it this way instead. And there's no toggle to turn on. So all you have to do is click on what you want to add to this accessibility shortcut. So for right now, I've selected magnifier and zoom. And if I X out of here, all I have to do is click the side button 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and it'll open up this little menu asking me which of the accessibility shortcuts I want to activate. Now, if I had only selected one or checked off one of these items, when I triple click the side button, it would automatically open the magnifier or go into zoom mode. But because I selected multiple, it's asking me which one. Now, when you're reading a website in, say, Safari, it's pretty easy to zoom. You can just pinch in and out at any time. You don't have to activate zoom to do that. But a lot of apps, especially third-party apps, won't let you zoom. There's no, even in settings, like there's no ability to zoom in or out. So after I've done the 3 clicks on my side button, 1, 2, 3, and I've turned on zoom, so at any point, 3 fingers, double tap, will zoom in. Now, using 1 finger won't let you move the screen around, but if you do use 3 fingers again, you can kind of slide over to what you want to look at and zoom in. And then 3 finger double tap again to go back to normal. Now, if you do 3 fingers and 3 taps, 1, 2, 3, you'll get a little menu where you can actually use this slider to control how much it's zooming in or zooming out. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to turn off the zoom just because I do sometimes accidentally tap my screen with 3 fingers, especially if it's in a pocket. Now for the next one, so 1, 2, 3, to get that menu back, I'm going to this time hit Magnifier, and it's going to open the Magnifier app. So this is a standalone app. You can always just in Spotlight search for Magnifier and it'll come up, or if you map it to the side button like I did, you can open it that way. And so what it helps you do, or what it does for you, is magnify any small text. So if you're looking at the description on a product, maybe a pill bottle, back of a box, anything like that, you can use this slider to really magnify in on this text. And because you're using the Magnifier app, instead of just say zooming in on the camera, the text is going to look a lot better and a lot sharper because this is what it's intended to do. So once you've used the slider to magnify sufficiently to the amount you want, you can hit the capture button and it'll essentially take a picture. You can still magnify even more after that if you need to, but then you can hit the reader button in the bottom right. It's going to take all of the text it detected and display it like this so that it's really easy for you to read through. Now you can also customize this reader. So if you press the 3 dots in the top right, hit customize reader, you can change the background. You can hit edit to then control things like the text color or even the text size if you rather it be a lot larger. But the other thing you can do, if I get out of here, I can press the play button to have it read back the text to me.
For your hands, multi-ceramide barrier treatment 65 milliliters 2.2.
And you also can even increase the speed if that's more helpful. So this is precisely why it's more beneficial to use the Magnifier app instead of, let's say, just zooming in on the camera. This is what it's made for, and there's so many added features here. And now back in your accessibility settings, a little bit above where we just were. So we were just in accessibility shortcut. We're now going to go up to guided access, and this is a little bit related. So we're going to click in here and just make sure it is toggled on. Now, to activate guided access, you do the same motion, 3 clicks on the side button, but you do have to turn it on here first separately before it even shows up as an accessibility shortcut. So you'll see guided access is here now because we've turned it on, but it's grayed out. I cannot select or deselect guided access from here. So once it's on, I have to be in an app. So let me go into Safari and I'm going to triple click, 1, 2, 3. I'm getting the same accessibility shortcuts menu, but you'll see now guided access at the top. If I was not in an app, if I was just on my home screen and did 1, 2, 3, guided access isn't an option. You have to be in an app, and that'll make sense in just a second. So if I go back into an app, let's say Safari, and I do 1, 2, 3, guided access is here. I'm going to click on this. Now I first have to press start here in the top right. It's going to ask me to set a passcode, and this is a unique passcode for guided access. This is not your iPhone passcode. This is a completely separate passcode. So for today, I'll just do 1111 again to verify. And so what guided access does is it locks your phone to that one app. So whatever your app you're in, we're in Safari, guided access is on, so I can scroll, I can read through here, I can hit the back button, I can go forward, but I cannot leave the app. I cannot get to my home screen. I can add a new tab, but I cannot actually exit out of Safari because guided access is on. So this can be most helpful if, for example, you give your phone or your iPad maybe to your child, grandkids, whoever it is, and you don't want them to be able to accidentally go place orders on Amazon or Uber. You want to lock them into one game or app on your device. Or even if you use, let's say, your iPad for work and you have to hand your iPad off to a customer, you don't want them to be able to go snoop in your email, your messages, photos, anything like that. You can turn on guided access to quickly lock down your device essentially and make sure that they only have access to or are seeing what you want them to. And then to turn it off, again, 1, 2, 3. It's going to make you press in your password to confirm that you do want to disable guided access. So 1111. And again, that's the passcode for guided access, not your iPhone passcode. And you can hit end. So guided access has ended. I can now swipe out to get back to my home screen or any of my other apps. Now this time back in your accessibility settings, but towards the top, you'll see read and speak. So first we're going to go into speak screen and we're going to toggle this on. And so now when you're in an app, any app, let's say email, notes, and you want text to be read back to you. So we'll go, let's say this email with 2 fingers, we pull down from the middle top of the screen. So 2 fingers at the top and pull down. I'll just pause it. It opens this little menu. You can drag and move the menu around if it's in the way. You can press play.
Demo@icloud.com. Message body. High wave in hand with light skin tone.
And it'll read back every single piece of text on the screen. So that can be helpful. It can also be a little annoying if you don't really want it to read every single word it's seeing. To get rid of it, you would just hit the 3 dots on the right here and just say stop and hide. So if that is a little bit annoying because you don't want it to actually speak the entire screen, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to go back. This time I'm going to turn on speak selection. I do find this one more helpful at times. So I'm going to turn it on. And so now let's say I go into an app like Messages. Someone sent me a very long message to read, but at the moment I can't read it. I rather have it voiced back to me. What I would do is just long press on that message. And because we've turned on speak selection, I'll now see an option down here that says speak. So when I click on that,
I'm on my way home and it's taking forever. The traffic is insane and I still need to stop at the grocery store.
The phone will just read back that section, not the entire screen. And if you find the voice is a little too robotic or it just sounds a little off to you, you don't like it, you can go back into those same settings. So speak selection, just go back to your main read and speak page. And then you can actually hear in voices, you can customize the voice. You can pick the language. If I go into English, I can click in voices. There's a whole bunch of different voices here that you can listen to find one you like best, and then you can even do things like adjust the rate, the pitch, the volume of that voice. So those are the accessibility features that I'm using frequently on both my iPhone and my iPad that just make daily things that I'm doing on these devices so much easier and so much better. Let me know if there's any that you're using regularly in the comments. I'd love to learn and test out some new ones myself. So that's it, and have a great day. Bye.